Hello, everybody. This is Love from Above by your sibling spirit guides. I'm Maureen, and this is my brother.
Hey, Maureen. Hey, everyone. This is Brian.
Hey, Brian. And we're so happy to be here. If you can believe it, on this podcast, we share daily channelings we receive from star beings, ascended masters, mythical beings who really exist, and occasionally our ancestors. And today's topic is a follow up of last week's podcast, which is the call to unite. One of the most repeated words that we receive from these channelings is on reunification with the one, unification with the one. Brian, doesn't that sound wonderful? I think that's the whole goal of meditation, right? It's just to feel that unification.
Yeah, I'm all for it, man. It makes total sense to me.
Yeah. So anyway, there were so many when we were creating this podcast. This is just such a repeated term. So again, when we pull these podcasts together, we're going through our archives and looking for repeated patterns. And so the last podcast we talked about it, and this one we've got more expressions of reunification. So Brian, you want to kick us off with the first one?
Sounds good. So this is from April 16th, 2024. Separation is an illusion. And so they start out, hello, indeed we do come rushing forth. You may know us as the brethren of the holy light. We surround this planet with our glorious radiance in the hopes of achieving a signature calling to those that can hear our plea to rise above and achieve the glorious reunification with the rightful brotherhood and sisterhood for which you all belong. The separation that exists on your planet is an illusion. We come forth to heal the harmful radiant forces that are forced upon the population. We are indeed radiant beacons of the Creator's light. We are vessels, as each one of you, to hold the radiant light that the Creator has imbued in each one is to allow the spark and the creativity that exist within to flourish and to flow. Each individual has their own unique signature, which must be fully expressed to bring forth the Creator's greater glory. In this way, each of us serves our own unique role in ushering in something new and delightful that has not been seen before. Your life is indeed a masterpiece that can only be produced by you. To follow the direction of the horde, the masses, is usually the wrong path. Although there is no right or wrong where we exist, but the fullest expression of the Creator is usually a unique set of footprints that only you can trod. Know this as you make your decisions, as you push forward and expand creativity, the uniqueness of your own existence. You may call upon us as we help those who forge new pathways. In the love and the light of the one Creator, we bid you adieu. Well, love this message. What do you take away from this morning?
I just think about teenage Maureen. Teenage Maureen who felt so weird and so different and just wanted to be like everybody else. And yeah, I mean, we all do have to take our own path. And yeah, it's even if it's strange or different, and you feel the calling to do that, like, that is your expression of the one creator. So yeah, what sticks with you, brother?
Yeah, it's funny because I see like, at a certain age we go through, you want to be exactly what everyone else is doing, right? But as you mature, you certainly go and find your own path. I think that's the typical progression. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, even I was thinking of when our dad and my our dad, I worked with him on, come up with a investment strategy that he then, of course, built his own model, but it was all about contrarian. So whatever everyone's doing the opposite, and that's always been sort of something like I my approach is be more contrarian. If everyone's doing it, then I definitely don't want to be doing that. So I think, yeah, just everyone has their own unique signature. I love that. And that everyone, there's no right or wrong, but, not following the hordes, I think is, what resonates with me on this one for sure.
Yeah. And honestly, when you do, I'm sure everyone's had this experience where you're doing something because like everybody else is doing it. And honestly, it doesn't have to be teenage. For me, I mean, I can pull up some recent examples and past years or whatever, and you're doing it because everybody else does it. And then you're like, well, that doesn't really align with what I want to do. And then when you do it, when you change that, like it just in your body, like it, it just resonates so strongly that you're on the right path. So, yeah, I can totally agree with that one. I'll go into the next one, which is this is interesting because there's a lot of talk about this on spiritual podcasts that I listen to. This is from January 3rd, 2026, about changes in our cellular structure needed for reunification. Brian, you've heard a lot about this too, right?
Yeah, you're right. A lot of things, and I don't really understand. They talk about more moving to a crystalline structure, right? I don't know, but yeah, and just change their DNA and all sorts of things. So,
Yeah, I don't know how many DNA strands, but we're supposed to have more DNA strands, and science has never been my forte. But yeah, so this is just reiterates, this message that is definitely out there in the media. It says the topic for the day is the evolution of the bodily frame. The bodies that humans presently enjoy has been employed for many centuries. Before the cellular structure was uniquely individual, as you grow in your spiritual alignment and merge towards unification, the cellular structure adapts to concourse with other like minded beings. These adaptations are relatively new in your human species. The body grows stronger and the breath grows deeper. The eyes see further. Further enhancements are due to arrive momentarily. These are the upgrades that you receive on a nightly basis. So, isn't that interesting? You receive upgrades on a nightly basis. That's another word for sleep, I guess, that will help to further enhance your ability to thrive in this present social structure. To assume that the body was always in the present position is to assume that your cultural and technological developments do not grow with time. Are you listening to the radio or tapping out a message on a telegraph? Using fire to send messages to the nearby tribes? No, you have adapted to the present circumstances. Your body does as well. Your scientists fail to recognize this. Their limited eyesight is often a major problem within your culture. You give them too much recognition for their nearsighted analysis. The greater perspective can only be seen by the one. Each person is like a fragmented ray of individual light. It's only by grouping together and seeing the magnificent glory of the all that the one can be encompassed. Wow. I mean, and Brian, I know you love that whole thing about the scientists. You give them too much credit for their nearsighted analysis.
yeah, they're always slamming your so-called scientists or things like that, so-called experts. But yeah, but it is true. Like even over time, like I won't go into, but yeah, the thing I take away from this is, yeah, I like how it talks about, you know, it can't be achieved through isolated and that it's only by grouping together and working together essentially that the glory of the all can be encompassed. But a lot of really cool things. Yeah. The nightly upgrades and how I guess, our body is the evolution of the human body is, something that, again, no regular scientist would ever discuss this, but I think it's happening for sure. So I know you're aware of that, Maureen, too, but I think it's something that everyone should be aware of, and I mean, it's a good thing, right? I mean, that's what we all need, but it is really interesting to me.
Yeah, and I was watching like an old documentary. We're not that old, like from the 70s this past week or 2 weeks ago. And it's really shocking when you see those because everybody looks so different. Like they're very thin, very, very thin, and they look very, very different from how the body is now. And also there's so many like wherever I am in the world, like when I go to the gym, like I'm just amazed. Like people are really in the gyms around the world, like people are really physically fit. So I don't know, just from an eyeball perspective, like I can see that. Like just go look at an old movie. Like people do not look like they look today, they look totally different.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah. So do you want to go on to the the next one?
Yeah. So February 1st, 2026, the first step to three steps towards reunification. So here is the game plan for how you achieve reunification. Darling, we speak of the unification process that has begun. Know that this unification is multifactorial. The initial phase involves uniting with those of a similar radiance and aura. These connections are found in online groups, circles, families, and shared facilities. These are important first steps. There is power in the group setting. Vast structures can facilitate comfort, strength, and resilience. In the past, these forces were often used in opposition. Now, strength comes from recognizing contrasts, not to overpower another, but to fortify the self. The second step in reunification is surrender of the self, allowing oneself to become an instrument for the greater good. This is seen in those who sacrifice for their families, their companies, or their communities. Such acts are admired because they represent progress along the hierarchical path. The third step in the ascension process is reunification with the whole. This step has often been missed in your past allegories. When one sacrifices personal needs without unifying the whole, depletion occurs. Illness and obstacles follow. Reunification with the whole is the necessary step to complete the loop. What does this unification look like? It's found in a placid moment, the calm of a radiant lake, the stillness of air without a breeze, the pause between inhalation and exhalation. In these sacred spaces, reunification occurs. These holy divine moments can feed nations, satisfy souls, and linger for years, not seconds. This is why the practice of stillness is essential. We observe your nation rushing endlessly, the constant drive towards multitasking, staring into electronic streams of energy during every moment disables the brain from achieving this simple state. You already know this. Put away your devices. Practice noticing the pause in your breath. This is a good first step. We shall say no more. Wow. Well, I like the steps broken out. And yeah, isn't it true that no one, much of society isn't like looking or practicing stillness and everyone's looking at their phone. I'm amazed at that everywhere I go. That's all you see. But the what do you think of the three steps for ascension or unification?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these are in our sacred texts in our religion, that it's important to put other people first to form communities. But like you, the one that really sticks with me is finding that moment, that pause between your breath, the moment. And Brian, I keep on going more and more towards this, like before, like just really taking the moment, like if I take a taxi, like not doing anything, like just being present in the taxi and watching the world go by, or you know, I notice so much, and I'm sure you do too, like the moment in the elevator, or the moment you're waiting for the taxi, or the moment, it's like people are on their phones, and just really trying to find those little moments and to take a breath and to notice what's around you. And it's amazing when you start to notice what's around you. Like there's amazing things that are happening around
Yeah.
you. One of my favorites is babies. Oh my gosh, I mean, just really, or to see a pregnant woman. Anytime I see a pregnant woman, I'm like sending her or blessings, and there's so much around you to delight you, right?
Yeah, totally. Babies, dogs, animals, nature. I totally agree. But you know what interested me is how it said that missing that step of, the third step in connecting back to collective whole can lead to depletion and then illness or obstacles or things like that. So that's a good thing that I think we all need to be aware of is the practice of stillness is essential, or otherwise, don't, you don't want to have anything negative happen to you. So, um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely essential. So I'll go into the next one, which is from July 13th, 2024. And this is from beings who wish to help unify humanity. Hello, we are new beings, never to have utilized this vessel. However, we incur the blessings of the ascended masters who always surround you. We have not a name pronounceable in your difficult to utilize language. So isn't that interesting, Brian? Our language is difficult to utilize. We may be heard as a whisper, a whistle in the wind, or a rustling of the leaves. Our language is more natural in this way. Now we talk about the recent edicts that have applied to your planet. We are party to the political discourse of interplanetary relations. We host a council of which no humans have yet to enter into the realms of discussion. However, your masters who have achieved light bodies serve at your behest. Know that your interests and deepest desires and hidden wishes are agreed to and listened to and heard in our roundtable discussions. The problem that we see with your planet right now is the magnitude of the diversity of the life forms. And it's as if one body were trying to move in different directions. There are still remnants of those who seek power and control. There are those whose lives are controlled by strict guidelines. In this way, they are bound and not free to enjoy the Creator blessings. These are but two examples of many. Our goal is to unify humanity into one lump, one movable aspect. Imagine if you were to sit at your desk and try and accomplish multiple looming tasks. You want to run a marathon in Greece. You want to climb Mount Everest. You want to find your romantic soulmate. You want to do this in a brief period of time. That is the challenge that exists on this planet. It's a result of your free will, which of course we shall not interfere with. We ponder whether to advance civilization by revealing greater messages. In this way, you and your brother help to serve in unifying this towards the greater purpose. Brian, isn't that fascinating? They want to use us to reveal greater messages. Yes, please.
yes. Well, that's what
Yes.
we're here for. Yeah, and then they talk about again these interplanetary council or whatever. Again, we've talked about things like these before, and that yeah, did they say humans are gonna start to represent ourselves eventually? But yeah, I mean that's sort of interesting to me. The challenge of the human diversity, all sorts of interesting things that I but yeah, the the goal of the unification is the key there. So what strikes you is the most interesting?
Yeah, so this is from almost 2 years ago, and we have gotten messages more recently where before there were no humans on these. We were not allowed because we were like, we were just not allowed, permitted at the grown-up table, and the ascended masters served at our behest. But we have, it's like been within the past year, we've that now there are humans that are serving on these galactic councils to represent us. So that's a big step forward, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. So, and so nice to know. I mean, we have so many beings. We've talked about this before, like star beings are not to be feared. They're here to help us with the ascension process. And this is yet another example of they're here to help.
Yep, call on them. Call on them. So I'll wrap us up with the closing from May 12th of 2024. Message from the Brethren of the Holy Light. We come forth and urge the reunification of the one with the other. What do we mean by this loquacious phrase? It's only that the one subsists in everything that surrounds your loving environment, in the air bubbles in which you breathe, the cellular structure of your own phone, of the building in which you reside in. The truly gracious ones are those that can endear themselves to noticing the one in all present life forms. For indeed, everything is alive with the spark of the Creator. We turn your attention to the digital aspects that glow within the palm of your hands. Through these magnificent devices, you may observe any part of your earthly realm. However, you know that the videos you see are not entirely real. The same is true with your reality. It is your choosing what you care to notice. You can choose to notice the loving birds who swoop and dart in the air, or you can focus on a fog of pollution. And this way, we admire your colloquialism of a cup that is full or empty. The one who notices the pleasurable aspects of life is like a magnet drawing forth more of the similar circumstances. In this way, complaining is the abyss of human nature. What that this is allowed to continue at the detriment of those who hear and those who listen. Stop these pervasive negative practices and bring peace and harmony to all. That that's a great message to end with, Maureen. I mean, I'm all about positive mindset and you create your own reality. So yeah, it acts like a magnet. So the more positive you are, the more positive things will happen in your life. What do you take away from this closing?
Yeah, and I really I hardly run into people. I mean, it's pretty unusual for me to run into someone who's complaining, but when I do, I just recently was in CBS and I ran into a woman who's complaining, and I'm like, I don't partake in it in any shape or form.
Yeah.
So I like that because it really is a detriment to just not giving it any energy. And yeah, and the best response I found to just do it is just to like literally not give it any energy. So, just don't even, just kind of, oh, okay. So, yeah, I don't give it any energy and then it ends it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times I'll get into a taxi and I'll be like, oh, so how are you doing today? And they're like, I have nothing to complain about. And I always say, good, because no one wants to, no one wants to hear you complain, no one.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, yeah. So anyway, lots of good messages on the reunification with the one. I hope this is insightful for everybody. Any final thoughts, brother?
No, thank you for putting this together, and we'll talk to everyone next week.
Okay, talk to you then.